Hello everybody. Here's a quick tutorial on Desmos. I see some of you is basically struggling using this software when it comes to graphing of straight lines, graphing of curves, creating a table. And I just thought it would be a great idea for me to do a video on how you use the Desmos, okay? So I just really want to talk about how you could use Desmos to analyze some of your graphs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a linear model, a linear graph. I'm just going to type a random graph, okay? So you get the point here. So let's say if I have y equal to, now I'm just going to do y1 because since I'm going to have two different graphs, so I'm going to have y1 equal to, I'm just going to make the numbers really huge here, okay? Because some of you did struggle dealing with large numbers and you had some difficulty scaling the graph. So I thought this would be a great idea for me to show you how what I would do with this. Okay, so let's say y is equal to 900x. I'll put a 1 because you have y1 and x1. Let's say we come up with a really huge y-intercept, let's say 12,000. Okay, that's my first graph. Then I'm gonna have my second graph, which is gonna be an exponential graph. I'm gonna make another random equation here, and let's make this really huge. Let's do something quite similar to 900. Maybe let's do 800. Multiply by what should we make the value of b be? Okay, maybe 2.1875. Again, I'm just coming up with a random number here, and I'll put x2. Okay, now you're not going to see any graphs that appear on Desmos here. What we need to do is we want to change the scale of the graph. So again, if you look at the y, the first graph, you know that the y-intercept was 12,000, right? So if you look at the y value here, it's like 23,685 or whatever number you have on Desmos. It should be a pretty small number. So I need you to change this number, okay? Because to be honest, we don't really need the negative value for y, so we can keep this to be 0. We can keep this number to be about 12,000, okay? For now. And the x-axis, maybe we could change the x-axis as well. Let's just remove all the negative numbers, and you see the curve has already appeared. I'm just going to let x to be maybe as good as 50, somewhere around there. I think it's a random number. I think that would be fine for now. Okay, if we need to change the numbers, we can always change this later. Okay, so we can always click on this little spanner here that says graph settings, and you should be able to tweak the values for the x and the y axis. Okay, so having said that, if you look at this, the red one is the straight line, and the black curve is the exponential graph. Now we know that if you want to analyze the graph, you probably see that the graph kind of meets here, or they intersect at this region. Then some of you were saying, like, can I actually find the intersection point of the graph? All right, do I really have to eyeball the graphs here? You don't really have to, because Desmos got a very interesting feature here. Now, if you click on a point on the curve, it automatically brings you straight to the intersection point, which is and it should be something that is in gray. Okay, like if you click on any point on the graph, all right, it's gonna be like a red dot here. If you click somewhere here, it's gonna be a black dot here. So if you see something that is gray, that's gonna be the intersection point, and you can read off the coordinates here, which is like 3.77836, and that will be the 15,400 will be the y coordinate for the intersection point. Okay, now if you don't like to deal with graphs, you can always create a table as well. And if you press the plus sign here, create a table, change this to x1, and the next one to be like y1. What you could do is, if I click on, let's say 0, it gives me a number automatically for this one. Okay, then of course if I go down, click on 1, click on 2, click on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it gives you the respective or the corresponding y coordinate for the straight line. Okay, but you do realize that if you create a table, um, the line disappears. It actually creates like a bunch of points on the graph itself. So just be mindful about this, okay? But I'm sure if you work out like more values here, you can actually look at the y coordinates. And the same thing again if you create another table as well. Let's say here, you could do the same thing for the curve. I'll either call this x2 and I'll call this y2. Okay, then you do the same thing, and that's where you can actually do the comparison of all the values of y and the values of y here between the straight line and the curve as well. So these are two ways where you could basically use Desmos for you to analyze your graphs. So hopefully this is a quick tutorial for you to use in your assessment. Hopefully this helps, and if you like this video, you know what to do. Alright, see you guys. Bye.